Hi there, this is Meredith Alexander, and welcome to The Sky is the Limit. Today, I want to dive into another one of the key elements of finding resilience. And for me, that was the incredible power of a deliberate mindset. That for me made all the difference. That is the answer to the question that a lot of people ask me: how on earth did you manage to maintain such a positive outlook in the midst of such adversity? And as crazy as it may sound, because of all the work that I've done through the decades in the area of mindset and developing my own powerful mindset, that seemed the most logical place to dive into. That seemed to be the place of investment that would have the greatest return, to put it into kind of financial terms. So let me explain that a little bit. Let me dive into that. First of all, I want to differentiate. I think there's a huge misconception for years and years and years and years when I have, in certain stressful situations, when I have appeared to be positive, when other people have heard me express myself or seen that positive aspect, there have been times when the temptation would be to call me a Tinkerbell, or to express that maybe a positive outlook is not the realistic outlook. And so I would beg to differ, or more accurately, I would beg to differentiate. There are definitely times when we feel like we want to soothe ourselves, and so we put it on a facade of positivity. That's when we put on a happy face, we put on rose-colored glasses. But to me, that's very fear-based. That's a fear of not being able to bear the weight of the situation at hand, or it's a fear that this thing is so terrible I don't even want to look at it. True deliberate positivity is not based in fear. True deliberate positivity is based in expectation. True deliberate positivity understands that there are many, 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 many documented cases of human beings worrying about certain situations when very few of those worrisome results turned it out to be real. So therefore, that negative fear of a negative outcome was unrealistic. What became realistic was a more positive outcome in those stressful scenarios filled with adversity. So statistically, in those situations, it was more realistic to expect the needle to come closer to a more positive outcome in most cases than actually to see the worst fears realized. And even in some cases where the worst fears were realized, once the human being who was experiencing that made it through, the discoveries, the places where they would end up, would be so powerful that although they would never want to relive those situations, what came from it was so expanding, so big, so powerful, that the situation still had value. So coupled with that is also the evidence that more and more our minds really react or can create some semblance of reality based on the expectation. There have been scientific research done into the expectation of our mind. Dr. David Eagleman of Baylor University, for example, I believe it was part of his team who did research on 3 different groups who were having a medical procedure done on them. One was going to be done in more of a traditional, very more thorough and invasive way. Another would be done in slightly less invasive way, and then the third would be totally a placebo group. None of the members of any of the groups knew which group they were in, and knew what was going to transpire. All of the groups believed that they'd had a surgery that would totally take care of the problem. All of them went through the identical rehab, and guess what? The results were identical. There are also experiments done where people are made to believe that this rubber arm, which they know is a rubber arm, ultimately it's camouflaged in such a way that they believe, their mind hooks into the belief that this is their arm. So when something comes down to endanger that arm, the mind believes it. Also researched have been, again, the power of visualization, when it really, when we let go of our predisposition maybe to be cynical, and we buy into the belief and we behave according to 100% all in on this belief. So we've seen this happen with our Olympic champions. There are numerous cases of life seeming to conform to our vision, or often it's used in a negative way with a self-fulfilling prophecy. But the power of self-fulfilling prophecies to be positive is equally as probable as the possibility of these self-fulfilling prophecies being negative. So in my experience, when I was able to genuinely tap into coaxing my mind thought by thought, from despair to hope, from hope to belief, and then to the place where my mind genuinely believed that the probability skewed more on the side of a positive expectation than on all of the quote unquote realities that I was hearing. That's when not just one miracle, but another miracle and another miracle and another miracle began to transpire. So either this can be coincidence after coincidence after coincidence. It's possible. You be the judge. But what I will share is this was very, very, very real. This is what transpired in our lives. And the incredible thing was that it wasn't just me, that I started having a positive expectation here, but then it began to be joined by more and more and more. And then ultimately people around the world's positive expectation that Skylar would ultimately be fine, whatever the new definition of fine meant. So whatever your beliefs have been, I would urge you on this beautiful day, on this incredible planet where impossibilities are happening every day, I would urge you to play in your own life. Maybe poke and prod a little bit about some of the conceptions that you may have about what is possible. Toy with the idea that we are not obligated to just allow our mind to flash back and forth like a birdie in a badminton game, that our minds are what makes them so resilient is that we actually can coax them, we can herd them, we can suggest, and then our minds begin working to make that so. Our minds love to prove that we're right, no matter what we believe right might be in the case. So play with that possibility in your world. Play with the idea that if you practice a deliberate positive mindset where it's only positive, not because it's unrealistic, but positive because you are able to find a more realistic expectation and that the outcome is going to be something desirable, than be overwhelmed and allow yourself to believe that the fear is the only real place to sit. Try something new. Try pushing forward, because I can tell you, for me, in all aspects of my life, when I am able to find that place of such powerful, positive, deliberate expectation, well, you know the answer to that. The sky is the limit. And even at times, it seems like the limit is only the beginning. So I hope this has tickled some ideas, some maybe new ways of looking at things, some new ideas in your own life, and maybe even some new sparkle in your step as you head out today. So I'm Meredith Alexander. Feel free to join me again either here or on meredithalexander.com. Until next time, the sky is the limit. Talk to you soon. Bye.